Welcome to the Soya Says podcast. This is episode number 15, and today we are doing something different. For those of you who are watching the video of this podcast on YouTube or on the website, you know that there's a change in the location as well. And the reason for that is because this is a different kind of podcast. Now, my podcast is called Soya Says. Soya is my nickname because I have a blog with the same name, Soya Says, and it's available on my personal website, shoaibqureshi.in, if you're interested in that. So, that blog is titled Soya Says, but I realized that Soya is not really saying anything in those blogs. Soya is just writing stuff. In order for Soya to actually say something, I should rather have a podcast. So that's where this entire idea of starting a podcast came into the picture, and I started off a podcast. Now, some of my episodes are obviously the audio version of the blogs that I've already written, and this episode is going to be similar. This episode is going to be on those lines where I am basically talking about one of the blogs that I've written. And this is different because this is talking about the three compliments, three universal compliments that apply to every single girl out there. So I hope you're going to enjoy this, and we can start off with asking a question ourselves, asking a question to ourselves. When was the last time someone appreciated you for your new shirt or shoes or anything else for that matter? Long time? Was it yesterday? See, the answer doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that a single compliment, if you recall when was the last time you got a compliment, that single compliment might have made your day, right? And even more so if it came from the opposite sex. It's just natural. The good news here is that the same applies to women. So you should be taking an advantage of this, right? What are you waiting for? You should go out, you should compliment women, you should make their day, and you should be called charming. But it's much easier said than done. Here is the biggest problem. We men, we don't pay as much attention as we should, and thus we end up not complimenting enough. Remember when you totally didn't notice her new earrings? That is still level 3. That is like the lowest level of not noticing stuff. Level 1 is not noticing her new haircut. And just because you might be curious, level 2 is not noticing her new handbag or sandals. You get the idea, right? So we cannot be blamed for not noticing her haircut though, because we don't really care that too much. We get a haircut every month. So unless it's a big change, we might not even notice haircuts. And earrings, I mean, forget it. That's not even a big deal for us. So how do we go about this? Here is a list of three compliments that you can hand out to every girl out there and without thinking too much. Now, remember, this is light-hearted stuff. Don't take this too seriously. Don't, start commenting saying how this is not right and how this is unethical and stuff like that. This is light-hearted stuff. So take it with a pinch of salt. Pinch of salt. All right, so let's begin with compliment number one. And that is not really a compliment, that is just asking a question, a simple question saying, lost weight? That's all. Now, every girl out there, and even those that keep posting stuff on body positivity and all that, and no disrespect here, but everyone wants to get a bit slimmer, right? Nobody minds losing a kg or two here and there. So don't get into the whole debate and concept of body positivity and weight loss, and don't get too serious about all this. Just keep it very simple, very light-hearted, and ask her a question: has she lost weight? Or say something like, your dress is a perfect fit, or something of that sort. Because while we as men, we might not care too much about our weight, and unless we notice a double chin in one of our selfies, some people don't even care. Even if they notice a double chin, that's all fine. But women, they do care about their weight, right? And that's what you need to kind of take advantage of, seize the opportunity, and tell her how her dress is a perfect fit. Compliment number two is simply saying your smile or your eyes, something around that sort, right? So the fact is, let's admit it, we totally adore a girl's smile. And even more so if we are the reason behind that smile. So while complimenting her smile is something that may, make some sense to us and would probably fetch a smile from her as well, there is another compliment that the pink army loves to hear, and that is around their eyes. Your eyes, or your eyes are so deep, or something of that sort, right? You don't have to have the brains to, even understand what this compliment means. Your eyes are so deep, but you should always have a backup answer if she, asks you, what do you mean by deep? What do you mean by your eyes are so deep? So always have a backup answer. But these are fun, playful, light-hearted compliments that you can always give. Your smile or your eyes or stuff like that, right? So you have to be smart enough. If you're complimenting her eyes, you should be looking into her eyes and not checking out the girl on the next table. So that kind of common sense is something that you should have. Now, compliment number 3 is about some unimportant stuff. So, in the beginning, I talked about earrings, right? You can add bangles and handbag and necklaces and clutch. A smaller handbag is called clutch, at least that's what I know of. Let me know if that's not correct. And, color coordination and stuff like these, right? These are stuff which we think is unimportant, but is actually very, very important. And you might think that how this is making into the list of just the three universal compliments, but you should not be fooled. These are unimportant only to us. The F gender, they do a PhD level research into what accessories would match what dress. And since they've already done the research, they've already done the color coordination research, and they've already done the matching the accessories kind of research. You are not going to go wrong when you compliment these, right? So you should be using this opportunity and complimenting women on these kind of you know stuff that may seem unimportant to us. When we talk about color coordination, for us men, we only know of 7 colors at maximum, thanks to Wibgyor. But girls, they know about colors which are totally alien to us: mauve and burnt orangish gray and fuchsia and whatnot, right? So they know their colors, they have already coordinated it. All that you need to do is notice it and give a compliment. So these are the 3 unbeatable universal compliments that are bound to work. But let's get into something thicker. Let's understand that she may have been receiving compliments like these from her high school years. And when you meet her for the first time and you use all these 3 compliments, you might sound fake, right? And all of this entire podcast, this is light-hearted stuff. Don't get into the comment mode and saying, hey, this is unethical and all that. See, this is light-hearted stuff. If you really want to compliment a girl without the risk, you better be genuine and you better be respectful. Genuine and respectful. You should genuinely be interested in all of these things that we just talked about, and you should be respectful. You see, when you call her beautiful or when you call her good looking, that is being respectful. But when you meet someone and you call them hot and sexy, that may not be respectful. So keep it fun, keep it light-hearted, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast.